Now we're going to do the pocket, and we're just placing our lining and our knit fabric with the right sides facing each other on top of each other, and I'm putting a pin in each one of the corners, and we're going to sew all the way around, leaving a turning gap at the lower straight edge here at the very bottom. And I have to say I left a really small edge, and that is quite difficult because by turning it, etc., you're really stretching your jersey, and it will not be easy to put it on without it looking slightly uneven. So make sure you leave a turning gap of, at least 4 or 5 centimeters. I would go for 5 actually, and then when you sew around, always have the needle down in the fabric when you turn. And you can also see that I'm using presser foot width seam allowance here. I'm not using a centimeter. Not that it makes much of a difference, but I find it easier to line up my presser foot with the fabric edge rather than trying to go for the 1 centimeter. Anyway, go around, and now you see me leaving this dinky little opening because I'm lazy by nature, and I did regret this. That is too small. Cut back only the curved edge where the little hands are going to go on both sides, and then we're going to turn the whole thing inside out. And when you do that, you can see how you would stretch that knit, right? So that's why you leave that bigger turning gap. And then I want to show you another little trick here. That's why we didn't cut across the corners. You fold one end in and then the other end over it, and that gives you a really perfect corner. I'm just going to lift it out a little bit with my pin, and it looks fantastic, right? So now I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Fold them on top of each other and go through, and you can see it here blended in how beautiful that ends up. It's perfect. There we go. And you can also see how stretched that jersey is just where I left that tiny little gap. And now we want to top stitch the sides here where the hands are meant to go in. So over to the sewing machine, you want to lengthen your stitch length to 3.5. Make sure that you secure your stitches at the beginning and the end. And also I'm doing 2 lines because I thought that would be really cool. Next, we're going to put the pocket on. Little trick here, very simple. Put your pattern piece back on. And instead of just cutting it out, which is what I've done before, you just fold your pocket in half, place it into that area which I've actually put on your pattern piece so you know where to put it, and pin it onto the right side of your dungies. And that way, of course, they are in the right position. So you might want to jiggle it a bit, make sure that they really are in the same, distance to the edge, but they should be. And now I'm going to top stitch my pocket to the front of the dungies. I go across, and I could do 2 lines, and in fact on the second one that I made, I always make more than one just to see how it goes. I did double stitching and top stitching absolutely everywhere, and now I'm going to do the other bit here. I'm starting where the pocket ends, so where the little hands go in. Make sure the needle is down, and then move over, and then get a pin, and where it's open you want to help yourself out because the knit will slightly push on your woven and you get a really unsightly pleat if you don't watch it. So you take your pin and you help yourself out, holding the fabric down. I'm coming back up now, needle down, equal distance to the edge. I've got like a little marker on my presser foot, and that's really handy. There we go. Awesome. And that's your pocket done, and we can now go on to our next step.